So I'm really excited about the Dream Reborn tour. A couple days ago, they just started their America's Leg in Vancouver. I get to see them in a couple of weeks, and it has been very difficult to not watch footage from fan cams and stuff of the concert because I don't want any of it to be ruined. I want it all to be a surprise. um, so yeah, that's where I'm at. So today I just thought, I haven't done a favorite things series video. I want to do a few more of those. And so right now, one of my fixations is definitely Dream Perfect Regime. And so I thought I'd just kind of highlight songs from each of the members of the group that represent kind of my favorite elements of what they do. They're all really unique. All of the members have really unique ways of doing things, but they also collaborate and create some of the most stellar, awesome music and videos that I've ever seen. I actually just accidentally found them way back in February of this year. I think I've already mentioned a few times. I decided to listen to some BTS and fell down that rabbit hole. And then a couple months later, I was watching a list of, I think, most popular or most viewed music videos on a list on YouTube. It was titled like K-pop music videos, although, I think a lot of people would agree that Dream Perfect Regime is definitely a genre of their own. I wouldn't call them K-pop. But that is how I found them. Do or Die actually was the first thing that caught my attention and got me to check out Dream Perfect Regime. DPR Artic is responsible for producing this incredible track, collaborating with DPR Ian's vocals. I think the video that I watched, the compilation, had 100 music videos, and I watched the whole video, that showed snippets. And this one was the only one that just shocked me, surprised me, intrigued me. It's something that I've not heard or seen before in conjunction. Like, there's a lot of really awesome music videos with effects and shit out there. With mediocre songs, and then there's some really awesome songs with mediocre videos. And when I saw Do or Die, it is a full package. It's a complete sensory experience, unlike anything that I've seen before. I think I've said that like 12 times now. And it's funny, like it almost comes down to a specific sound as far as the music in this track. And that sound is also accompanied by a shot that is just, again, shockingly beautiful and awesome and unique. And, it forces you to just want to explore more. Like, you have to, figure out who these people are. So, yeah, I'm just going to play this for you. This is DPR Artic. This was my introduction to DPR. Let's hit play.
Down to the other line, the way they move through all your heat, they never will understand that you are always my do or die. That you are always my do or die. die.
So DPR Artic cuts such an enigmatic figure. It's fascinating. And there was a recent interview with Artic Cream and Ian all together. And like it's so interesting how introverted they all seem, like out there at their core. They all express themselves a little bit differently. And Artic is just like that quiet one at the party where you're like, what's he all about? I bet he has some really interesting things to say, but he's not just gonna, be extroverted and present it to you. You have to like go digging for it. But yeah, that was kind of that. So I watched that video and I was like, who the hell is DPR? Let's figure this out. And then that's when I fell into the rabbit hole that is DPR Ian's music, which for any dreamers that happen to be watching this, like that is quite a space to be lost in. I'm not gonna try to like cover a bunch of ground on that. I will include links like I did before, I think with the Limbo video, to some interviews and Instagram lives where Christian will talk you through the different elements of this huge story that is expressed through his music and the characters involved and the layers and layers upon layers of symbolism that are ever evolving. And when you watch Christian's music videos, it's kind of one of those things where you have to watch it a million times and you're probably still going to miss some things that are going on. But let's see, I picked out one music video just to kind of highlight. This wasn't like the first one I saw from his body of work, but it is one that I think is just kind of hitting me in an extra special way as far as the gorgeous melancholy tone of the song itself, and then accompanied by this brilliant music video that does showcase the skills and the editing expertise and the artistry that gets you hooked immediately. So the music video I chose is Nerves. So I'm going to click over to that. All right, let's hit play.
me, 'cause I'm doing fine. So you came around my house and you left your marks with your fingertips. I'm sitting where you sat down, and now he's looking for something meaningless. I'm getting little breathless. I'm getting to the surface. I'm getting little breathless. I'm getting to the surface. Hi, how you doing? I heard you seem to be happy now. Hi, how you doing? Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm doing fine. 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 Girl, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I swear it's not a lie. I'm doing fine. Girl, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I swear it's not a lie. I'm getting little breathless. I'm getting to the surface. I'm getting little breathless. I'm getting to the surface. Getting little nervous. Just getting to the surface. You got a little nervous of running back to you when you weren't there. And I'm sorry, I was hurting too much to know that you were standing right there. And I'm sorry, I will sing this song to you to tell you I really care. And I'm sorry, when I left you all alone, girl, I know that wasn't fair. 'Cause I loved you, he loved you, loved you.
So part of what is really complex about Ian's work is how many different perspectives you're dealing with. Very, very briefly, you've got Ian himself, you've got MITO representing lows and a protector, you've got Insanity representing highs, who is also Ian in certain ways, as it has been explained. And outside of the character perspectives, you also have the settings that switch and also shift perspectives. So you have everything that's going on the other side, which is the territory where lucid dreaming is happening, and Ian is going all kinds of places, going through doors and discovering new layers of himself that are being pursued, created, and destroyed. And then how I kind of view the other setting where some of these music videos take place, like Nerves, is on this side. So you have the other side and you have this side, which is more like the concrete, real world that is not in the moment completely taken over by Insanity or MITO. It's more of a, this is probably closest to Christian, and the character Ian dealing with the effects of bipolar in the surrounding world from the perspective of the real world. Like the video itself of Nerves is kind of the most realistic, I guess, and we're dealing with an interpersonal relationship with Ian, who is most close to Christian in this part of the in this part of the story that takes place in the song. This is all just my impression, by the way. I'm just rambling. And so that's kind of how I wrap my mind around the different music videos and how it's, painting another section of the entire picture. And the entire picture itself is always moving and changing depending on whose character perspective we are in and what setting we are in. And those interchange as far as the combinations. So that's awesome. And there is so much to sink your teeth into. Definitely go listen to Christian's interviews and listen, because he's the only one that actually understands perfectly and clearly what's going on as far as what he's trying to express. And the rest is just, dreamers having fun and trying to figure it out and appreciating the beauty. A lot of it is abstract, and again, the layers of symbolism, those are always going to be partially subjective in interpretations and how it impacts you personally. And in interviews, he has talked about how, there's definitely a part of it that is free for interpretation. At the same time, there's a specific thing that he went for as far as the storytelling. So, again, it's really fascinating to listen to him talk about those things. So I strongly recommend those interviews and stuff. And again, those links will be in the description. So mind blown. Obviously, I watched all of Ian's music videos that were available. And then I discovered both Live and Cream most recently. The beginning of DPR entails Live and Ian. DPR Live, aka Dobbin, as I believe he's going by now. Dobbin recently released a documentary that complemented an album called Giggles, and there is some really awesome insights into the beginnings of DPR and kind of how Ian and Live met, and how that evolved into what the project is today. So again, dreamers, please feel free to fact check me in the comments if I'm getting something wrong. So let's go ahead and move on to the next clip I chose to show you and just kind of listen to and appreciate. This comes from DPR Cream. Okay, so DPR Cream's latest album is called Psyche Red. And Cream is a fascinating color of this ensemble, in that his music is creating abstract paintings out of music, and it's fascinating and interesting, and it's another one of those things where you have to listen to it over and over and kind of let your mind wander and question, and it's just a really fascinating experience. And I chose one of the tracks. I think this might be my favorite track on the album. It's just called Tea, and I don't have captions. I have no idea what the lyrics are yet. I haven't looked up translations, and maybe I did. I couldn't find a good translation, but I'm sure I will find that eventually. But as I've explained before, a lot of times I like to experience things like this, music first, and then I add digesting the lyrics to that later on. So right now I am still in that appreciating the music experience of it. So this is Tea.
번째 yeah 틈만이 덮으면 습관돼 너 보면 온몸이 더워 그것만 아주 더워 like 틈만이 두 번째 yeah 틈만이 덮으면 습관돼 너 보면 온몸이 더워 yeah 그것만 아주 더워 I like 처음 나의 몸에 힘줘 저 무거운 거 무거운 비싸 무거운 거 부티나지 않게 I like 처음 나의 몸에 힘줘 저 무거운 거 무거운 비싸 무거운 거 부티나지 않게
As I'm listening, I'm like meditating on this album cover, and it's like the track names are hidden in there. There's Savage, there's a B, I'm sure there's Puberty, there's a little X up here. It kind of looks like Artic's insignia, I'm not sure. But yeah, cool as hell. Last but not least, I wanted to listen to the first track of Dobbin's recent album that corresponds to a documentary that is deeply personal. You can tell it's kind of just taking a deep dive, not only into what has been going on, what has happened, you know, mentally, emotionally, but it's also kind of telling a biographical story of you know, his evolution of as an artist in a lot of ways. Let me switch over. So Kiss the Ring, to me, this is just a monster of an introductory track for this album. And one of the biggest things that I appreciate about Dream Perfect Regime is how truly and honestly invested they are in creating the art and being just giving 100% of themselves, whether you know it's vulnerability, honesty, mental health struggles, highs and lows, things that you know maybe other artists would be hesitant to bring into the spotlight. These artists are just putting themselves as human beings front and forward and examining it through the expression of art that is just truly, truly impactful and powerful because of that willingness to put that first and foremost. And I think that's where a lot of connection comes. People feel deeply connected to them as artists because they are willing to go to all those places that might be uncomfortable or even upsetting, what they do with those spaces is turn it into inspiration, and something to learn from and learn about ourselves as humans. There's truly nothing going on right now that is anything like Dream Perfect Regime. So again, I wish them the best as far as their tour. I hope they're having so much fun, and I can't wait to see them. I love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. So to close out, let's go ahead and listen to Dobbin's Kiss the Ring.
Yeah. Wow. Feel it low. 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 Feel it down. Feel it low. Body to body, everybody. Rappers found it, so I'm here for the case. Your honor. 이유는 simple, 죽여줄 심보, 차별된 taste. 015 to 23, I've been hit. 40 deep, your get feats, I've been hit. Tell me who went out. 팔리지 않은 care sound, still underrated how. Count it, count it, count it, count it, count. Times I was left out, too much that I lost count. Left here thinking how the best days are my worst days. But it's okay, it's like this always. Cause the worst days may be the best days. So it's okay, was like this always anyways. I don't wanna do much, I don't wanna say too much, yeah. 있잖아 나는 ride and die, Picture perfect 계속해서 S1 벽을 위해서 늘 downstep 애가 있었던 우리 시원하게 세게 투어준 지금은 soundcheck, yeah. Outfit Juniors it down, once you join it slows it down. Artic on FOA, jeans on bass, client dreams and 어느새 MNG 열어 cause of fan pics. Hold away cream, do you see she a bad bitch? Love, I know you a savage. Ring me if you want my magic. So I'm living lavish. Getting rappers like I'm rude and savage. Yeah. But the baggage really filled with counterfeit and buku garbage. Yeah. Lately I lost my mind. Blood like a rose in her eyes. Chasing dreams I cannot define. Now she's kissing, go kiss the ring. Kissing, this is free. Spit scheme for the worldwide. Big feet, same side. Kissing, cause kissing, go kiss the ring. Kissing, this is free. Spit scheme for the worldwide. Big feet, same side. Kiss the ring.
Yay! Oh yeah, I was gonna like show off that I got the limited edition. I would light it and show off the lightiness, but I did manage to break it despite Ian's awesome how-to video. I dropped it and it like jiggled one of the batteries and the cartridge is stuck, so I can't get the cartridge out. And I'm afraid to fuck with it too much because I feel like I might die or get hurt somehow because batteries. I'm dumb. Anyway, thank you. And yeah, leave comments. I'd love to talk to other dreamers. Cool.